I really don't want to swim here, Daddy. And just the secret here is just being patient, biding your time, and picking the right gap. It can be tricky. I actually think there's a gap here now. Oh no! Oh no! Gonna have to do it again. No. Take it, dude.
Have it.
That one looks a little bit sunny. Looks like it could be sunny.
That's my technique.
Yeah. Here we go. Give it.
Pull. No, take it.
Just watch it, not another line. No, one down. And one again. Come a little bit towards me. Come, walk back towards me. Okay, that's it. Well done. Okay. Pump and one, nice and steady. Pull up slowly and then one down.
Coming around, boys, like a professional.
Keep the pressure. Well done. One more rod to move. Well done. Shifting, boys. One down. That's it, quickly. Up, one down. And again. And again. That's it, and again. That's it, and again. Just try not to jerk too much, but pull up. And one. Fishes here. Pull up slowly. Take him full. That's it! Yes! Yee, Cam, my boy! Well done, bro. Okay, we keep hold it.
I think that's the biggest one ever caught.
Well done, boy. Well done, Cam.
Did you guys film that?
Yeah. I'll do another cutter there. That's your first cutter?
Ever.
First cutter?
All by myself without any instruction from anyone as well.
100%.
Here we go, Daddy.
Rods of
Yeah, Daddy.
What is that? Cheat? Oh no, it's a snook, big snook.
Big one, Dad.
Half snook.
Good evening, guys, and welcome to this week's weekly wrap-up here at Natal Powerboats. A massive thank you to Nick and Ruli for having us this evening. Guys, thanks very much.
Oh, pleasure, man. Good to have you here.
Yeah, appreciate it. So Natal Powerboats, guys, is down here in the Glen Anil, Durban North area. If you guys are keen to come down and have a look. They've got an absolute awesome array of all your boats that you would need for any facet of water sports, whether it's offshore fishing to skiing on the dam or wakeboarding, all the way to your jet skis as well. Guys, it's not a new showroom for us down here, but it's definitely for anyone that hasn't visited. You guys have been you've been in the industry for a long time, and this showroom is always a pleasure to walk into.
Oh, thank you, man.
And how's it been?
Yeah, business has been great with lockdown, and then we found that a lot of people are getting out and doing stuff for the families. Kids' sports have been cancelled, so we found all the people dusting the cobwebs on their boats, and suddenly you got a big reactivation in water skiing. Your deep sea fishing, obviously we've had probably one of the best fishing seasons in years now.
100%.
And guys are really getting amped and excited. And the amazing thing which we're really enjoying is watching the lighties. All the juniors are really getting into it. And I must say, my favorite thing is actually going out to sea now and just watching the lighties fishing and having fun and carrying on. And even the dam. I mean, this Sunday we're going skiing again. We've started doing it now, I'd say at least twice a month.
Yeah.
And it's awesome watching the kids getting involved in all the sports. And in every way for us, it's good.
Yeah, 100%. And really, as a first-time customer that's walking into this establishment, I mean, how best would you describe what you guys have on offer here? And to sort of a guy that doesn't really know anything about Natal Powerboats.
Kirk, we've got, we do have the largest selection of water skiing and deep sea in the country, actually. The guys that work for us are fishermen, are ex-Springbok water skiers, so they can guide you. We've got boats from as small as a 16-foot to the 23-foot classics that are quite popular. In the deep sea range, you can get from a 15.6 right up to a 30-footer. But whatever suits you, we'll find something to suit you, of course. And I think that with the professionalism that we have here, we can definitely guide you, there's no doubt.
And you guys as well, I mean, one of your pioneering, or your main outboard brand here is Suzuki. I mean, tell us a little bit about that relationship that you guys have with Suzuki.
We've been doing quite well with Suzuki. It is the ultimate four-stroke. You can get from as small as a 2.5 horsepower to the 350, which is the dual prop. You've also got the SS models, which is for the bass fishermen that really want that strong grunt, that fast performance. It's whatever you need with regards to whatever boat you have. If we want to repower it, we can definitely find the Suzuki solution for you, no doubt.
Awesome, man. The other guys that joined us here will have joined us here tonight for tonight's wrap-up. We've got Ali, all the way from the Bay this afternoon.
Yeah, a long drive, but I'm here.
Made in record time. Brendan just made it in time from up the hill in Hillcrest. And the anchor of tonight from Real Service KZN, Paul Nixon, he's going to be running through
Real Service Durban.
Real Service Durban, sorry.
Thereabouts.
Yeah, there we go.
I've been called many things in my life.
I'm sure a lot worse.
Just always have Real Service South Africa. Good clients all over.
Yeah, but Paulo, welcome, and
Guys,
thanks very much
much
for coming through tonight.
No, it's good.
Paul's going to be lending his knowledge on real service and maintenance later on tonight, and exactly what you guys should be doing as well as us. I know a lot of us don't quite take care of our equipment like we should, and Paul's just going to be filling us in on the do's and don'ts of servicing and maintaining of reels and rods and whatnot. We're going to go straight into a Yamaha ad quickly on the new 2020 jet ski model that they've just brought out, and here's an awesome video just introducing that.
The power to win every weekend. The sophistication to inspire exhilaration. And the technology to customize every ride. Packaged to create a luxury ride like no other. Introducing the most premium personal watercraft on the market. the 2021 FX Series from Yamaha.
Pictures for the week.
Before we got involved in those.
Yeah. I used to work at this.
Guys, well, that's an awesome look at the new 2021 range from the FX series from Yamaha. That'll be, I think it's already landed, Eddie, the 2021 range?
Yeah, no, it has.
Yeah,
It has
and
landed.
If you guys are wanting to get in touch with the guys from Racetech with regards to that, for the FX 2021 series, guys, the fishing lately has been off the hook.
Wild.
It has been.
Doesn't matter where you are in South Africa, it's been on fire.
It's been crazy. I mean, Paulo, you got a nice cutter yesterday.
Yeah.
It looked 20, but
It's all about the camera angle. I might have to do another show about how to place your fish.
I think so. Yeah. Or get the right oaks to pose with it. Like if you get Brendan or Nick to pose with it, it'll make it look mad.
Thanks,
So it looked about 20, but it was only I think 15.
Get Brendan to lie
Actually-
down next to it.
Actually, may as well pose with other people's fish at the moment.
You'll have a
Brendan's
whole lot
started-
of little coots over
Oh,
here.
yeah. I was chasing weekends fish. Went to Westbrook yesterday and nothing.
Brendan posed with his leftover mackerel, so I just thought he caned the show.
Might start doing.
No, but it has, and specifically down. Well, it's been wild all over the place. But I was off Scottsboro yesterday, and I tell you, I was saying to Paul earlier, there must have been 20, 22 boats out there. And at one time I looked
Tomorrow
around
there'll
there.
be 50.
Yeah. At one time I looked around there, and there must have been about 14, 15 oaks on. Some boats double up. It was a massive shoal, and it was just mayhem till about 10 o'clock yesterday morning.
You know, down by us, which is quite interesting. If you ever want to have the biggest fight of your life, hook a diver, because they're everywhere.
Well, at least you know the fight won't last long because they can't hold their breath long enough.
But on a
How do you
serious
fill up one of
note,
those oaks?
a lot of the divers are mates of mine, and you know, while we slow trawling or whatever you're doing around in the shallows, you know, they popping up with their head and another cooter, and they were saying that there were schools of 1,000 plus cooter coming through on the 18-meter mark along Salt Rock, Belito,
I can believe
carrying on, and they said it would come through that you couldn't even see around you. That's how many, and it's lovely to hear what's going on under the water and how our fish, as I've got a lot of diving friends that give me info.
it. And you dive every now and then yourself.
Yeah, I enjoy it because you see it, you shoot it. You don't have to troll around for 16
Not
hours.
for your jet ski. Eh?
So, and all different pelagics. Tuna, queenfish. Oaks have seen a lot of queenfish, so it's lovely to see that they're moving not in ones and twos, big schools.
And Paul, you were saying earlier, I mean, well, we were having a discussion earlier with regards to the size of the fish that are around now. We haven't seen this many fish of proper shoal cooter.
Yeah, like those 4 to 6 kilo fish.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it was in
powerful.
2005 I heard was the real last time that there were 2006.
Oh,
So there's a lot of
so
theories.
it's been a good
I mean,
12,
there's a lot of
14
theories
years
that
ago,
guys
yeah.
are talking about, like just from when lockdown proper happened last year.
Yeah.
You know, and there was significantly less pressure over a period of time where it was supposed to be when we get most of the pelagics that come through here. So
Sure.
we had a lot of snook, small snook that came through. I know the guys we were catching, I don't know, I must have released 80 snook in 1 week at Umsloti
Yo.
just before lockdown really began. And it was all those little like 1.5 kilo fish. And there's a lot of guys that say that post the small snook run is when you get all the cooter that come through. And
Definitely,
as soon as that happened was when we were all now prevented from fishing unless you were a commercial operation. I was fortunate I was able to jump on that, and so it was quite fun
Yeah.
being on the water. There was no one else around there, but
Yeah.
you know, there's those series there. You know, a lot of this stuff, it's not, it doesn't happen immediately, but it might be as a result of just 1 year of completely decreased pressure that the fish have now been able to have the migratory run,
for sure.
and now moving through again, and all the small shodies are now coming through in big numbers.
Yeah,
It's really nice to see. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's incredible. And has there been a knock-on effect into?
Yeah, there's a lot of
MPBs?
excitement. There's a lot of excitement. Guys are rushing to get their boats organized. Or if there's a breakdown, quick, I need to get back on the water tomorrow. Same like your reels.
Yeah.
So there's lots of little emergencies going on.
Yeah.
And I must say on the repowering side, it's been phenomenal for us as well with the Suzukis. Yeah, incredible. Lots of oaks are wanting because they're fishing more and more. Suddenly they want that fuel saving, they want the reliability.
Yeah.
So it's been incredible for us.
We couldn't have asked for anything better to kick the industry back into gear after the year everyone had last year. So we're definitely very thankful and very fortunate to have all these fish around at the moment. But Lawrence has got a special that they're running on their new HDS range, guys, which is a cashback deal that they've got. When you buy an HDS range, one of the fish finders from the HDS range, you get €500 cashback. So get onto the Lawrence website, check it out, have a look at their full range of fish finders. Sorry, you've just been hit by some rain here. Hopefully you can hear. And check it out on Lawrence's website, and I'm sure they've got a finder to suit your needs on there. We're going to start moving on to the flushing of the boat, really. Tonight what we're going to be doing, guys, is we're going to be doing a little bit of a maintenance section on how to properly flush your 4-stroke or your 2-stroke engines. We've got a set of Suzukis on the back of a boat here at Natal Powerboats, and we're going to be doing a bit of some maintenance and flushing tips on here. And then we're going to be looking at the walkthrough on this, what boat is that?
Gamefish 17.
The Gamefish 17. I've personally been on this boat off of Port Edwin. It's a beautiful, beautiful craft to fish off. I think it was that exact layout as well, the center console, and had the 2 motors on the back as well. Absolutely beautiful boat to fish off. So we're going to be having a walk around of that. Nick's going to take us through that. And then we're going to move into the maintenance side of things with Paul. So really, I don't know if you want to move over to there quickly. And while Rudy's getting set up there, we're going to have a look at the new Ford Ranger, guys. The Ford South Africa has brought out some awesome new crafts for 2021, namely the new Ranger as well as the new Thunder. So check out this lovely ad from Ranger South Africa, and make sure you live the Ranger life.
Life doesn't come with an instruction manual. It's a big world out there. Go explore. Make an entrance. Yeah, that's it. And don't waste a single day, because you could be inspiring someone. Put in the work. The hard work, the hustle, the grind. It's tough out there, but you're tougher. Make your own fun. Share the journey. And never forget who you are and why you live the Ranger life.
Which one? Copy. Those 2 are wild clouds.
All right, cool. So
Sorry, just get the camera here.
Not a chance. Doesn't one of
Brendan?
them have a Porsche?
okay, so really,
Great.
thanks very much. So really, going to be going through some how to properly flush and maintain your motors once you return.
100%. As we all know, salt water is very corrosive. It's essential that you flush your motors. What I do after my use is I take a hose pipe and I rinse the cowling, I rinse the whole of the outside aprons, especially the trim and tilt, and especially the mounting bolts over here, because they do tend to rust over time. But you must just drench it, you must try and break that salt down, and then once you've done that, you can actually wash the cowling with a sunlight detergent or something to that effect. But when it comes to flushing, I like taking the cowling right off. There's nothing better than a visual inspection, make sure that everything's intact. Then what I do, you can just hold that.
Sure.
Then what I do, get yourself a good set of earmuffs. Make sure that they're nice and tight. Make sure that you put it straight over the grid here. Just before you do that, just make sure that there's no sand or weed or whatever, or even a packet, to make sure that it's not stopping anything. You put your earmuffs on. So that's a tight fit. What's even better is to do it this way. What happens is normally with the shaking of the motor, you got to be careful that the earmuff doesn't fall out. Then what I do recommend is a little fitting like this, and you can put a like a salt away or salt to go detergent inside, and that just breaks the salt down. The important thing to know is that the motor needs to get hot. So this 1 minute or 2 minute flush does not work. At least 7 minutes. I know it sounds a lot. If you can do it longer, rather do it, because as this motor is getting hot, it's breaking down the salt. Once you finish that, switch off the water, remove whatever you need to, make sure that the key is in the off position. Then what I do is I take some fresh water, I just put a little bit of fresh water in the tray, not on the electrics, just in the tray. And then you can finish off with a silicone spray, and it's done. It's perfect. But
So you actually don't miss this with fresh water at all or anything like
No,
that?
don't do just the tray, because it does attract salt, the inside of the tray. And don't use a high pressure hose, just a normal hose pipe. Just rinse it at the bottom, and you'll be amazed at all that dry salt that comes out. But once you've done that, this motor can look after, it will look after you. It's a very important investment, and flushing is essential. Just remember, run it for a while, more than 5 minutes, 7 minutes is good, and the thermostat will open up, it'll break all that salt down, and this motor will give you many, many good years.
And really, is it advisable to, obviously you're running it in neutral, is it advisable to put it in gear, give it a bit of a rev, sort of drop it in reverse and that?
Definitely. Okay. So if you can do that, just make sure someone's always looking here. The last thing you want is this earmuff to collapse. But yes, you can go forward, neutral, reverse. If you really need to, though, also especially the guys that use braid and the guys that do bottom fishing, and let's say for instance, while you're fishing, you think you've picked up a braid, take the prop out, have a look at that shaft, make sure that braid hasn't twisted on that shaft, because what happens, that braid gets so hot, it actually melts the seal, and therefore water goes into your gearbox. Okay. That's also nice. A lot of people don't do that, but if you want to go one step further, you can. That's another thing.
Where you just release that clip off there, huh?
So no, you remove this nut, take this clip off, remove the nut, remove the whole prop, and you'll see the bare shaft. Whenever you put it back in, use a proper marine grease to put the prop back on, and that'll give you indication if there's any braid or lines stuck in the shaft. Another nice thing is that in a Suzuki, you've got this defense against water. It is a water separator, and if you can visually see dirt or water, you can physically remove this, and you can open it up and clean it yourself. That's just simple maintenance, of course. Okay.
All right, so that's your general sort of maintenance.
That's my general one. And another little tip that I always tell the guys, especially even commercial guys, buy yourself a good grease gun. There's nothing wrong. There's a couple of nipples over here that you can grease on your own. It's not expensive, and that will give you. It will grease the motor, and it will push all that salt and the old grease out. You don't have to do it every time you use it, but once every 6 months, it's a good thing to just grease it yourself.
One of the things that really, when I hear it, it's almost like fingernails on a chalkboard, is when you've got sand in between this area here. Yeah. Is there anything that you can do?
Unfortunately, if the flushing doesn't help, you've got to remove the prop.
Okay, so it's not advisable to run the prop to.
Well, you can if you want to, because it will grind it eventually into a finer. It will grind the sand finer, and it will just loosen it a bit. Yeah. But I'm still a big fan of removing props. And another thing which I never showed you is the cold flush.
Yes.
Which is this here. So all outboards, well, most new outboards have got this cold flush. It's just a normal Gardena fitting you can put in there. You must not fire up the engine. It's a cold flush. Just put the water on, and the water will scream through the engine, and it'll flush it. The reason why you've got this facility, you don't want to wake up mommy after you get home quite late. You don't want to wake up the neighbors. You live in a block of flats. It's a nice feature to have. Also, the guys that have their boats in the moorings, they just trim their motor up and they flush it like that. I'm not a fan of it. I do prefer the earmuffs, but that facility is available. The reason why I'm not a fan of it is because nothing's moving in the engine. It's always nice that the motor's moving, but it's better that than nothing.
And nothing, 100%. Yeah.
Better that than nothing. And then also when you store your engine, I don't know why people store the engines tilted up. Store them down. That's what they're made for. They're not only when you're traveling do you trim them up. Otherwise, then leave them right down. That's the secret.
Really, thanks very much, man. That's awesome. Yeah, guys, for all your boating needs and any more information that you want on maintenance tips as well as repairs and that sort of thing, give Natal Powerboats a shout. You've got Ruli and Nick here that have been in the industry for a hell of a long time and are brilliant in this and just know so much. I've just got so much knowledge about any facet of fishing and any application to do with anything salt or freshwater. Give Natal Powerboats a call, guys. We're going to be chatting about the Gamefish 170 here with Nick. Now we're going to be doing a bit of a walk around. Nick's going to be showing us what's going on this boat. I've actually fished off this boat. It is beautiful, so come and check it out. Right, let's get on here.
Let's do a little walkthrough on this boat. Okay, so if we start at the back here, we've got a little live well inside here, which gets plumbed in through the back of the boat here. On this boat over here as well, we've got a little cutout at the side over here. You can have a look at it from the outside there. So what this does is that should you happen to take a wave and the wave rushes through the boat, most of the water gets out over the back there and the rest gets dealt with the scupper. So if you take a line from here towards the center and you accelerate, most of the water's out and escapes out of the boat. This little boat's ideal for up to 4 to 5 people. Your console's in a nice position. Am I jumping around here?
No, it's cool.
It's a nice, comfortable position to steer from. Over here you'll have fish finder, GPS, obviously your switch panel, a VHF radio, and obviously some music, a Bluetooth media player. Obviously tackle box drawer over there, a little cubby hole on the side. Then your fuel gets stored below deck. You can put 4 times 25 litre fuel cans inside there. And then obviously the boards close up and you've still got storage on top. Then walking around to the front of the boat, obviously you've got 2 seats here, which is big enough for the whole family to get accommodated on the boat. And then you've got a fish hatch that goes forward in the hull.
Nice big fish hatch, yeah.
And then moving over to the front here, obviously storage under both seats. And then quite a large anchor hatch in the nose, in the bow. Obviously got a little bollard and roller there. And you can accessorize the boat how you want. If you'd like a T-top, this boat here has a T-top on it. A lot of people also just opt for a canopy. Lots of rod holders located along the boat. And if you wrap, I don't know if you can reach on this side over here, there's another little tackle box drawer over here with 3 drawers inside there. Each one takes 2 Plano boxes.
Lovely. And Nick, this has been in your range for quite a while. And how's it been taken by the boating?
It's done very, very well for us. It's a very light boat, so it's a boat that can be towed by anyone without a very serious 4x4. You don't particularly have to have low range either. Quite a few guys have been using it with a single motor as well, so we can run it with anything from a single 80 up to a single 115. A lot of guys are opting for anything from twin 30s to twin 60s. And yeah, it's been a very, very popular little boat for us.
And the layout of this boat, does it come in a forward console, or is it strictly just center console?
Strictly center console on this one. Yeah, we haven't done anything other than this here. We have got a few modifications we can do where some of the guys don't want the sides there, and we do a whole cutout there and Flotex the deck.
Okay.
We've also done one now which we sent to Mozambique, which we've done that beautiful EVA decking.
Okay, yes.
Which is laser cut and that. It looks absolutely stunning. So it classes the boat up a lot.
100%. It's a beautiful looking boat, and yeah, like I said, I've been fortunate enough to fish off one, so I know how it rides, and it is just, I think we had 5 oaks on the boat that day, and it was beautiful. It was an awesome craft.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, we love this little boat. It's done really, really well.
And the size motors, sort of, if you're putting 2 motors on there, what do you
I'd say 40s, 50s are more than enough, but generally because of the weight, especially on the Suzuki, your 40, 50 and 60 is the same.
Okay.
And generally guys end up going for the 60
yeah.
because it's the same weight at the back.
Sure.
So yeah, excellent
Lovely,
little boat. And it also on the 60 will plane on one motor and get you home as well.
Oh, okay. Well, that's an added benefit. Nick, thanks very much, man. That's
Yeah,
a
it's
lovely
pleasure, man.
walk around of the Gamefish 17. And guys, for any more information with regards to boats, jet skis, flat water or open ocean, give the guys from Natal Powerboats a shot. You got Nick and Ruli here that are all willing to help, and obviously a very big sales team as well, and the guys in the back that do all the servicing if you need that done. So come down to Natal Powerboats and give them a shot.
Shot good.
Shot,
Thanks,
Nick,
mate.
100%, man.
Okay, mate.
All right, guys, we're going to head back to the table where the boys are busy checking out, obviously, a little post of some fish, or maybe something faulty. I don't know what's going on there. Like, so looking and smiling and whatnot. Boys, we're going to get into the maintenance side with Paul shortly. But just before we do that, we've got Club Marine have been a stalwart in the industry throughout all events and anything to do with what we love, which is fishing, but also the flat water boating and jet skis, whatever it is, they're involved and they give back so much to everything that we've been involved in. But they've also got a side to their company that I don't think many guys know about, which is their import-export side as well. So they've got all the expertise that you need when it comes to imports or exports, and they can cover everything from the packaging and protection of goods and the customs clearance. But they also do your household insurance as well, the tackle insurance. So give the guys from Club Marine a shout, and obviously that vital cross-border insurance as well. Now that some of the borders are open and we can sort of travel and move around a bit, give the guys from Club Marine a shout. They've supported us for a very, very long time and for the right reasons, because they are the best in the business. So give the guys from Club Marine a shout, and they'll happily take you through all the products that they offer, and they are top class. Paulo, we're going to hand over to you soon, or now. Are you ready?
As ready as ever.
So it's something that I think lets you down at the worst periods. And
that's normally when I get a phone call, is when something is broken.
So give us a bit of insight into what you do. Let's start off with that, and then we can move into sort of the correct way to maintain, wash, and keep your reels and rods going.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Thanks very much for having me here tonight.
No problem.
Yeah. So the whole business idea came about probably 4 or 5 years ago now, and definitely was more my wife's push than mine. I was working a 9 to 5 and trying to run this little side hustle by servicing mates' fishing reels. And it started to get so busy when my wife said to me the one day, she was like, "Okay, but like, where are you putting more of your effort? Are you working for a company or are you working for yourself?" And so Reel Service Durban was born, and it's been 4 years of very little fishing and 4 years of a lot of insider fishing reels. When you start your own business, you think you're going to have a lot of free time, and that ain't going to happen, right?
I don't know why you shake your head.
and now we've got a new addition to the family, so our hands are very full.
That's nappy service.
But anyway, so moving to what we do, I run the business from home, and it's just myself. It's been fantastic.
And you service all reels?
Pretty much, yeah. I generally try to stay away from the very entry level reels, purely because from a cost point of view, it's just not really feasible to try and replace parts on them and that sort of thing. Rather save your cash and buy another. If you want to get another entry level reel, then by all means, like, go and get a new one. And have it as a bit of a throwaway, but what we try and do is I try and protect people's investments. Nothing is getting any cheaper, and tackle is getting more expensive now. So, it's just not feasible to try and replace stuff on a regular basis. Rather maintain it, regularly and ensure that your, Gower saltists are in the $6,000 region now. The Stellas are 10 grand a pop now, and people don't have 10,000 rand floating around that they can just throw a hand out every year.
Yeah.
So that's what I try and do is as best to my ability. It's just a trade that I have learned over a number of years. It's not like I've done any formalized training or anything. It's basically just working on reels constantly every single day, and got to the point where we are now.
Yeah, 100%. Paul, what would you say, and it's a question I want to ask now before I forget it, what would you say is a suitable time to leave your reel between servicing? I mean, how often should you be servicing your reel? Obviously, it depends on how often you use it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, generally for a guy that's maybe a weekend angler, is able to fish maybe 3 times a month, twice a month, how often should he be servicing his reel?
It's a common question that a lot of people ask me, and exactly like you say, it's got to do with your frequency of fishing, what type of fishing you do as well, how hard you are on your equipment. So if we're at Natal Powerboats, so you're a ski boat angler, the likelihood of getting your equipment drenched with water is not that high unless you are pushing a boat in off a trailer and you're getting water over the back of the boat, and maybe putting it in a little bit deep. I've seen that a few times, and then reels do get submerged. If that happens, obviously a reel getting fully submerged in salt water is not going to do any good to it, whether it is a El Cheapo or a very expensive reel. Salt water doesn't care about 10,000 rand, doesn't care about $1,000. So if you're going to have constant saltwater abuse, then your reel frequency, or reel servicing frequency, will need to be much quicker. But if you are a weekend angler, you fish, when the weather is good, a nice calm ocean, once a year probably would be a good time.
Yeah.
A lot of times I say to people is the rest is what will kill your reels. So if you're going to be storing them for a long period of time, I've got some of the marlin tackle here, those guys are only fishing for a few months out of a year, and then they're spending long hours out at sea trawling at 20 knots or whatever, a lot of salt spray, a lot of exposure to the elements, and then that reel gets taken off the rod, put into a cupboard and stored for 8-10 months. And that salt, so what eventually happens is the water will evaporate, the salt will remain, and that salt crystal expands and starts eating away at the metal of your reel. And bearings will blow, the internals of a reel will get completely wrecked. And that's ultimately what will destroy your reels.
So that's in itself is a good tip right there for guys that are fishing. Maybe we were speaking about it on the way here, fishing maybe twice a year or once a year or 3 times a year. It's probably better for them if they're going to be storing their reels over long periods of time to actually service it before they store
a lot of my inland customers that's kind of how we run it, is they plan for Easter weekends, December holidays. That's kind of their times that they come down to the coast. So if they're going to be they'll come and fish, and then they drop their stuff off with me after the Easter weekend. I get all their stuff done, send it with a courier or postnet or whatever back up to them. They know that that reel has been looked after, it's correctly greased, oiled. They can store it, and the next time that they want to come down, December holidays, they literally can put that reel onto a rod and head out, and they know then that they won't have any issues. The first thing that'll happen is you put a bait out, get smashed, reel seizes, end of story, and tears on the beach. You don't want that.
100%. Big no-nos when it comes to kayaks, jet skis, and ski boats. We obviously jet skis and kayaks a lot more sort of abuse from the salt water than your sort of your ski boaters. But big no-nos from your standpoint, and ways that guys can negate that. So ways you found that you can negate the saltwater exposure and just the general roughness, especially from the kayaks and jet skis, on your actual reels themselves? Or do you put them in covers when you launch?
So I mean, just to protect your reel, a reel cover, one of those neoprene covers is a good thing to have. It does stop a little bit of water. Obviously, it's not like a waterproof bag, but it does stop a little bit of ingress of water. What it does prevent is getting scratched. You know, some guys don't mind it. I'm not a big fan of having tackle that I've spent my hard-earned money on getting wrecked. Even though it looks bad on the outside, it's still functional on the inside. But you know, it's still nice to have a reel that still looks in good condition. So just a cover on the outside is a very simple, very cheap way of preserving an investment. Constant, like personal maintenance, like when you get off after a fishing session, just spending a little bit of like literally 10 minutes after your fishing session, cleaning your reel off with there's products that are out there, Salt to Go and Salt Away and all sorts of other things. I've got a little mister, or what you call it, atomizer, with something that we all have at home and most of us guys don't use a lot of, is dishwashing liquid. I use dishwashing liquid for my fishing reels.
Your wife's going to have you washing those
in case anyone thought you didn't wear the pants.
So literally, I just use a mixture of just a small little amount of dishwashing liquid and water. We're fortunate at home, we've got an outside shower, so I get home from a fishing session, put the rods up in the outside shower, get a bucket with some fresh water, spray my rods and reels down with this dishwashing liquid solution, take a sponge, wipe everything off, let it dry, and then silicone-based spray, so fishing tackle protector, Spaniard product I find is pretty good, but any silicone-based spray, don't use WD-40s, don't use Q20s, those are degreasers. They will break down the oils and greases on your reel, and obviously those products are what you use to protect the bearings and the working parts of your reels. You want to use something that leaves a slight film on your reel on the external, so spraying like on a multiplier where the star drag is, on your clutch lever. Some of the reels have got bearings on their handle knobs, so obviously where the handle knob attaches to the reel. On your nuts of the reel, the screw ports, those are all good places to just give a little spray of the spray, and that should prevent any salt build up on there.
And in here, I remember you telling me when after servicing my reel one time, important to loosen this section.
Yeah, so on your handle, often you find on
builds up in there.
Yeah, eventually, if you've left it for too long, it will prevent the handle from folding down. It basically just seizes it completely. So every now and then, just undo the handle and give that a little spray. What I do in my servicing, I actually put a little bit of grease and a bit of oil inside here, but over time it does eventually come out with like frequent washing. So on spinning reels, take that off. On spinning reels, on the bail assembly, obviously it's a working part, so if you leave it to be, sitting for a long time, bit of salt inside, they will just crushed up. So on both sides of the bail arm, line rollers are a very common issue for any reel that's got a bearing in it or a bush. Salt in there is, will prevent that from moving. So give that a little spray. The reel covers as well, the rear protector as they call it, you often get a little bit of salt sitting underneath here. So give that a little spray or wipe down. Pretty much that's
just a
question. Post fishing.
Some guys have got different theories on it, and you'll have the best theory is some guys reckon they spray their reels hard with water when they're finished. Some guys prefer to just pour water over it slowly for longer.
Yeah.
Does it make much difference? Or
it does, definitely. So any pressure of any water will force water into a reel. and a lot of reels are now pretty well sealed. So you force water in, it's very hard for the water to then come out, and even fresh water inside of a reel will damage working parts. What it could also do is it could force any external salt water into the reel, and then you end up with something like that, and like that.
Is that Mario?
So these,
so
this reel on the right here is a reel that is a sealed IPX6 rated reel. It has a body seal. It's got seals on the top, and it is now no longer functioning.
You're not going to catch anything with that.
It is a what would you call it? A bar counter memento. same as this reel. This is no longer working. There's nothing inside there that can be, well, unless you were to scrape the salt out inside the reel and then you replace everything internally, then you can.
So you might as well buy a new reel.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately where we've got to with spare parts on reels is. Spares on them is where the companies make their money. They don't want you to replace parts. They want you to buy a new unit. So they charge a lot more money to replace parts than they would to replace an entire unit. Generally, like if you were to replace a gearbox on, say for instance, a Saragossa, you are going to be paying nearly 3/4 of the price of a new reel just to replace a main gear and pinion and a main shaft. So it's actually not, early detection is better than trying to, replace major spares inside of a reel. So, yeah.
And from just, you're talking about gearbox and that sort of thing, brings me to a question of correct handling of a reel when you're fighting a fish, when you're reeling in a fish. I mean, from sort of your expertise in this field, you obviously see when guys have kind of maybe abused a reel with fighting a fish incorrectly, and what are the common sort of signs of that, and how guys can stay away from that? Reeling under tension.
Just winding into a fish. Use the fishing rod. We've all, like our buddies have all told us at the beginning, when you start fishing, you pull up and wind down. So you're using the fishing rod to take the tension of pulling the fish towards you, and then you use the reel, which is basically a pulley. That's what the Afrikaans word is, a katrol, is a pulley. If you ever watch the live streaming with the guys and someone says katrol, it will auto-correct to a pulley. Not a fishing reel.
Call it a parrot or something.
No, it's a Durban. So pull back on the fish and then wind down onto it. That's probably the best way. You end up stripping. Some of the spinning reels have got little small internals on them, and you strip worm gears, main shafts, and when that happens, then you start to force the reel, and then you damage other bits and pieces. The anti-reverse goes in them. I've seen it. This Stellar Gold is a common issue with it, where the worm gear will strip, and then people will force it. Then the main gear, the main shaft breaks, and then when that happens, then you really force it, and then the anti-reverse goes in the reel, and there are no parts available for those.
And then tears arrive after that.
And then big tears after that, because it's an investment, it's an expensive reel, and very difficult to get parts for them.
Sure. Paul, what would you say if your reel goes swimming because you got pulled off the jet ski? How do you fix that?
Well, I'm glad that you never got pulled any further away from the jet ski.
I'll do that on my own, don't worry.
We're definitely going to get you some armbands.
We don't need a swimmer out at sea.
And some.
Generally, what I say to guys, like,
to keep you on the jet ski.
Submersion of a reel in salt water is.
Well, I've got a date with you soon.
Pretty good. Give me a shot. But
no, definitely, it's coming.
It's a clear indication that it needs a service.
Yeah, definitely.
The fish are biting, so
it will. I had a day where I hooked a cutter coming back into a very big westerly at one of the major kayak fishing comps. It was a good fish. It was the last day of the comp. Hooked it took a run and it turned broadside on me, and I went overboard. 4 rods over. One thing, if you're on a fishing ski, this is expensive. Rod leash is not expensive, especially if you don't have to replace stuff. So tie your rod to your fishing kayak. I mean, on a jet ski, it's not as important, but you do.
I'm going to tie me to the jet ski.
You see it on ski boats as well. I had a friend of mine the other day who lost 2 rods same day. Fishing, no. It's now, you see it on WhatsApp now where it says shared many times. Justin Painter, he built a bridge quite quickly though.
Was that on the rubber duck?
He got over it very quickly.
You obviously was anticipating that.
Yeah.
I saw his face, it was epic.
Overboard. But I mean, on ski boats and stuff, you also get a little tether that you can put onto your, onto the back of the boat, clip it onto the rod. You never know. I've seen it with guys where they don't put the rod into the holder correctly. They put the reel in front of the holder.
A little bit late.
Get a bite. Cheers. Goodbye.
Ask Kirk, he's got one. No, you had one. And you had the clip, we just didn't put it on.
I had the tether and the clip, and I thought, it's dead today.
Just talking about submersion, that's another thing, guys. Some guys do, they'll, after fish, they'll go and dunk their reel.
Yeah, it's the same, basically the same as taking a hose pipe and spraying your reel. It's still going to let water in. And it's something that I would definitely recommend you don't do. Just a simple sponge. You're not going to be able to get into the internals of a reel just with daily maintenance. All you're trying to do is just wipe off the excess salt and grime. If you're going to be fishing at a dam, there's a lot of algae and dirt and whatever. Just a simple sponge, maybe a little toothbrush or something on some of your smaller bass reels and stuff like that you're going to be fishing with in freshwater. Salt's not a big issue there, but just a simple sponge, warm water, and then wipe it off with clean fresh water, and then use a product. There's a number of them, but a silicone-based spray after that, and then store your reel dry. That's also a key element. Let it air dry first, and then once it's completely dry, then you can put it away inside the cupboard or in your workshop or wherever you keep your kit. And obviously, it's not with the modern Carbon-Tex washers now. You can't really compress them. It was more that whole theory of storing your reels with your drags loose was for reels that have got the cloth or those kind of washers. That I see it regularly, like your SL50s and the older Stratix and stuff, where guys have had the drag tight lots. It flattens the drag washer completely, and you can upgrade those washers anyway. It's a fairly simple solution to that. But obviously, it's not a good idea to keep the reel under tension. So a good idea is to leave the drag as loose as you can, and then store the reel for whenever you're going to go back fishing.
How are you with maintenance, Fuzzy, when you open up that reel? What happens there? Smoke coming out the ears there. Over one.
Paul saved me.
Because I'm the same, bro. I'm the same. That's how Paul and I actually first got going with the maintenance.
Funny.
I opened the reel and not because he has my ice cream box with all my pots. Take it in play.
You got a Roma tub the other day. Because I've got, what was it, a Trinidad 20 Shimano, lovely reel, and I thought, there's 3 screws. What can go wrong?
I thought the same thing, bro.
So what I did,
so that's the problem number one. There's 6 screws in a 20.
I took the 3 screws out and I lined the screws up, 1, 2, 3, and I took this part out and I had a whole chain on my table. But then I missed 1 or 2.
You ended up with a pin handle on the Trinidad.
I phoned Paul, I said, I put this reel back together, but I've got 1 screw, 2 bearings, and another thing that I don't know what it is. But the reel's back together.
Because I thought, that's my missus.
No, guys, don't even try.
My missus said, you'll never ever put this together. I said, I'll show you. And I also did the same thing, lined everything up like that. And it took me about, it was probably the easiest reel to put together. It might have been like 4 pieces or something like that. But she fortunately went to bed, so she couldn't see how much less of a man I was after taking that reel apart. And I literally just went like this, to ask him to Paul, But Paul, thanks so much, man, for those tips. I think guys are going to be taking a lot out of there. There's so many different things that you hear about proper maintenance on rods and reels, and I think you've cleared a lot of that up for us tonight. Guys, if you are looking for the right person to get your reel serviced and maintained correctly, Reel Service Durban, Paul Nixon is the guy to speak to. We'll pop his number on the feed so you can get hold of him, or you can get hold of one of us and we'll point you in the right direction. A massive thanks to Ruli and Nick from Natal Powerboats for hosting us.
Pleasure. Thanks
Boys,
for
much
visiting
appreciated.
us.
Yeah, no, it's always
Happy to be here.
it's always a
Thanks for that.
pleasure. Beers are always cold and company's always good. Guys, again, if you are keen on that Gamefish 170 we went through, or some Suzuki outboards, or any other jet skis or flat water boats, open ocean, seafaring boats, give Natal Powerboats a shout. They also do maintenance on your boats as well. So give them a call, give Nick or Rudy a call, or one of the guys from their sales team, and they'll also make sure that you get what you need. So thanks very much, guys. Shot for popping through, and we'll see you next week, guys. Shot.
Thanks for watching.
Cheers.